There's also the concept of user-defined types and user-defined functions. So how does that work? Let's do types first. So we mentioned, right, existing types like string, integer, boolean, or pointing to other properties of other resources to get those types as well. The other way is creating your own types, and this is how that works. So I'm using the keyword type followed by a name, and then declaring anything that I want to have inside this type. So in this case, I'm saying it's a combination of 4 different strings. It's going to be a host pool, an app group type, a custom RDP property, a load balancing type, but it could be anything, right? So now that I have declared this type, I can now use it inside the declaration of a parameter. So I'm now creating a new parameter. In this case, it's called host pool properties. And it is of type my host pool type, which is obviously the type that I just declared before. And I can now pass it some values in there as well. What I can then do inside the creation of the resource is I can easily point to it. So I'm using, in this case, I'm creating a host pool here. And for the properties, I'm specifying it that entire set of my host pool properties, which is just the type definition that I created for the specific use case. So providing a lot of flexibility when it comes to creating your own types. And there's an interesting thing about these type definitions, which is relatively new as well. So I have another short example here of another object that I'm creating and then a parameter why I'm using it. But as you can see, I made a typo inside this property here. It says optional. So the P is obviously intentionally left out here. But you get this warning, right, saying, did you mean optional property by any chance? And of course I did. But as you can see, it's a yellow squiggly right here. So it does still allow me to use this template to compile it and to deploy it. If I do not want this to take place, I can use the new decorator here, which is called sealed, because I now seal this type. And as a result, as you can see, it now became an error. So the message is still the same, but it's an error. And as a result, I cannot compile and start using this. So that's the sealed decorator that you can now use in combination with user-defined types. Same thing applies to user-defined functions as well. So you might be familiar with existing functions you can do in ARM templates and Bicep, like what is the minimum value of these numbers? Does this name contain the specific character, and all kinds of other functions as well. But you can also create your own by using the keyword func, providing a name, and then optionally setting a couple of parameters you want to pass to it. And then specify your own custom function. So in this case, it's a custom function that builds a remote desktop property object. So it adds a couple of strings in the right order. But of course, the function could be anything that you need. So that's a great way to add some additional customizations and doing things outside of the Bicep language that require functions to do. The other great thing you might be aware of is the export decorator, right? So in this case, I'm saying this function is also allowed to be exported towards other Bicep files. And as a result, if I would open up another Bicep file like this, I could do things like, for example, import everything and call it my AVD functions coming from this specific Bicep file. And then within the resource declaration, I could just point to my AVD functions dot the name of the function and pass it a couple of variables. So again, we mentioned reusability as a big aspect in the beginning. This is definitely a big part of it.